then it hit me that if Niajiri is nothing, then I am nothing. It took us a long time to get to where we are right here, and it took a lot of resources. Do not go and say you're going to build it's statistics. B2C in Africa, bado. Any non-techie, whatever problem you want to solve, make sure you can make money out of it. Kwanza, basic, make money.
What was the moment in your journey of an entrepreneur building Niajiri you got down to say like, why am I even doing this?
The lowest moment for me to date as an entrepreneur.
If you have a startup, you might not be alive to see 5 years. My aim was to get.
Is it about you, or is it about the people that you're solving problems for?
Prominent people in the innovation industry in Tanzania.
Hi everyone, welcome to Be Agile. Once again, I'm hosting my good friend, good sister, a client, a partner. I'm not sure what to call her now. Lillian Secelela Madeje. She loves her 3 names.
Yes, I do.
Every place you find.
You have to differentiate yourself. Right? Lillian Madeje. There's many Lillians. Wakati niko shuleni nilikuwa naitwa Madeje ndo nageuka. Because Lillians tuko wengi. So Lillian Secelela Madeje.
Nice. For those who do not know you, Lillian, just a brief introduction about you, your work, what you do. Karibu.
Okay, asante. The name is Lillian Secelela Madeje. Thank you for having me. It's been a moment, so I'm glad you finally called me to the podcast. Be Agile. So for those who do not know me, which version do you want?
Because you're talking to a younger version of yourself, a founder who is trying to put a business together, an entrepreneur, someone who is aspiring to be a leader, to be a future Lillian, say.
Okay, a future Lillian. Okay, awesome. So Lillian is an enthusiast. Lillian is an optimist. I started my first company in 2014, Ekihia. And IPF were our first customers because they made our website. Awesome. That's how I got to know IPF actually. And evolving from 2014, then came the company was dealing with training, recruitment, and consulting. In 2018, from my MBA project, I was tasked to come up with an innovative idea. Niajiri was born, and so I'm a founder of the Niajiri platform. From 2018, but those are not the only hats that I wear. I started in the space of human capital. I have over 15 years of experience right now. We were just talking about this earlier. I have been a radio host, the link connecting business minds on 102.5 Choice FM. Nice. For a period, I think 2011 through 2013. So every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., I used to talk to amazing people. From those entrepreneurs to people in the marketplace. I have done TV shows twice on clouds during civic education shows during election times. This year around, I'm not doing any. But yeah, I did one in 2015. I did another one in 2020. That was fun. It was a different type of era. If you listen to Airtel, that is my voice behind the scene.
I was saying, like, in case you forget.
I will not forget.
It's still there.
It is still there, by the way.
What does it say, by the way? If you can just give us a glimpse, if you remember.
The number you're calling is not reachable. Please try again later. It is
that is Lillian. That is Lillian for you.
So that voice is mine. I'm talking to you. I co-founded an innovation and tech annual event company with a friend of mine around 2015, 2016. It was called Bits and Bytes. That was fun. It ran for a moment, and everything has its phases. I've had the pleasure of working with various organizations. So I say I wear many hats. So I do a lot of work around qualitative research. So I've worked with the likes of IDEO.org when they were coming into town, and they were doing major projects with a couple of MNO, mobile network operators. I'm not naming names. I got to really go out in the field and understand how products work from the perspective of the user, which was always fun. I have consulted for the likes of World Food Program and got to spend time in Bangladesh right after COVID, which was an amazing time. So as you can tell, I am a woman of many things, and I think what I'm grateful for is just taking opportunities as they come, but having something that grounds me, and something that has been grounding me for the longest time. It's always been that I wanted to do something that is greater than me. I wanted to have a way that I can give back, but I wanted also to have a way that I can show that I'm awesome. It is good to take over your awesomeness. So I'm learning to do that because I've always been shy. But yeah, and I think I found that with Niajiri. It's been in the making for a period, and yeah, I'm here. And so I am the woman behind Niajiri. And no, Niajiri does not have a co-founder, guys. It is Lillian Secelela Madeje. Because there's somebody the other day, I was just like, yeah, first of all, I was introduced as co-founder, but there's a guy who called me friend of mine. He's like, Lillian, I'm with somebody here and they're really saying, Kwamba, you're just, you're a co-founder. I'm like, which person is crying with me at night? Oh, besides my sister and all, the close family and friends when I'm stressed and everything. But yeah. So I'm the lady behind Niajiri platform, but I have an amazing team that is holding me up and helping me get to where I am. So that's Lillian Secelela.
Nice. I'm glad you're now coming so much upfront with that, because I know you were shying away from that title for a while. And maybe let's take it back a little bit. An MBA research project, it is what we see the Niajiri now. Yeah. All right. Interesting. So like for folks who are you're doing your MBA, choose wisely.
Yes.
Choose wisely. Now, Lillian, the Niajiri platform, luckily enough, I was there from the genesis, the way it started. And it started with a text on WhatsApp, like, hey, Grayson, I have this idea. I want to work on this. I've shared a couple of times about this, but I can't help reliving the moment now and then. You with everything that you're doing, I know by that time you were consulting for Raha. Was it Raha's? What was that as HR?
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, Coca-Cola. You're doing other consulting.
Yeah, it was through a Kia. So we have it like a couple.
So you were busy with other projects already.
Yes.
And this Niajiri was born out of simplifying one, of course, the MBA part, but simplifying the hassle of you working with your consulting part and everything. And started as just MBA project, but it was not. Did you imagine now, if we take you back to 2014, did you imagine? Because now I believe you are full-time on Niajiri, right?
Yes.
Do you imagine now, this would become a thing that you're full-time on?
I don't think so. So as you're saying, even the MBA capstone project, I had a whole other different project for the longest time. I had, you have 6 months of researching, 3 months on, I'd research on something else totally different. And at the last minute, it was just not coming. And that's when I pivoted to really looking at the challenge that I was facing, as you said, whereby I was doing this recruitment and I was doing it old school. I will collect CVs in physical formats and in flash drives. Guys, flash drives. In flash drives and all of those other things. And for me, turning that into being a capstone project, it was just, as you said, fulfilling capstone requirements. But when I was like, okay, let's actually test it out because all I had to do was just present, the mfumo, basically, right, to school, and it was good to go. But I decided to go an extra step and actually test it out or pilot it with one of my clients then. And I remember the late night calls we used to have, and everything was crashing and people were coming on board. Hey, okay, stories and stories. And even if you ask me then, I was trying it out, but, reflecting, because that was in the midst of 2018, right? January 2018. Yeah, 2018, Feb, March. That's when we're doing the pilot. I don't think I could have imagined we would be where we are right now. I did definitely have fun. I, want it to be something, but like to the extent of what it is right now, and even to the extent of what we have built.
Yeah.
I think for the longest time, and this is a positive and a negative for anybody who is listening. I remember there's a time when, I was telling people what we're doing with Niajiri and the system that we've built. And I usually got great advisors who would be like, Lillian, pick one thing, do that one thing, and make sure that you do that one thing very, very well and just roll with it. But I was like, no, but I still want to do something with the career seekers and upskill them and do A, B, C, D, F, G. And I want to provide something for the employers, I always concentrated on the career seekers. And in that, we continued building the system.
Yeah.
And you would be, the witness to this because the system is huge. Now, where I'm going with this, the positive about it is I have a humongous system right now that we can do anything and we can pivot to whatever thing we want to do. But it took us a long time to get to where we are right here. And it took a lot of resources that, in hindsight, if I had decided to just maybe we just prioritize on just having a kick-ass CV and just that, and not think about the upskilling and not thinking about the assessment and not think about the leaderboard and not think about, okay, so what comes out on the other end and not think about, okay, what services are we actually bringing to employers? Like, I was thinking through the whole system. So now we have an amazing, huge system. But for anybody who is listening out there and you want to do, if I was to look back, would I have done it? So I like being honest. I still would have been stubborn, which I was, in wanting to do the things that I did again and again, because it's got me where I am right now in just so many lessons. But I would, if you have limited resources, I would advise to stick to one thing in terms of solving for one thing, because I think we started solving for a huge problem. And then right now we're at a space where, okay, we can at least select and be like, okay, now I just specifically want to solve for the employer because he's the person who's keeping our lights on. So let's make sure that they're satisfied, because as they're serving us, then we're going to serve all these other guys. So I think, back to your question, did I see this? No. Was I hoping it would be something like this? Yes, but I would not have pictured it anyhow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Were you speaking of specification and specifying, like, I'm solving this one thing? If now, fast forward, going back, how would you, like, the approach? Would you basically pick with all the features of Niajiri? Like, you're a mother of Niajiri and you're not supposed to pick favorites, but like, of everything that you've done on Niajiri, which one would you say, like, I'm working on this bit?
Of all the features, of all the fact that right now, looking at it as a business person, I would have started fixing for the employer.
Fixing for the employer.
Fixing the problems for the employer. See, I was fixing for the employer, but in working with the career seeker, in making them better, which is the product. Yes, that's well, because the career seeker is my product. I have good career seekers who I can connect to a job opportunity, or right now they're able to get access to different LMS, learning management partners that we have, right? Because we don't have all the jobs, but I'm like, let's connect you to opportunities. But if I was to pick on one thing, because remember when we started, I was like, there's a problem for the employers of what? Collecting this data, the CVs and everything. But then I got the Mother Teresa part in me in transforming the skilling in Tanzania, which is still something that I am so passionate about and I'm still working my way around it, is I got stuck on the bigger, I don't know what to call it, the bigger sticky problem, which does not necessarily have a clear-cut solution. And the monetization of it is very, very difficult, is solving for the skilling that then these people now who are coming to become my product, how do I solve for them? But if I just stuck on, I have this awesome applicant tracking system that I can go sell to all of the different employers and manufacturers and industries to do their hiring, or for us to manage their hiring by using this system, I would have monetized much more faster, right? Rather than concentrating, because I think between, leave alone COVID, just like shaved away like 2-3 years between, 2018, 2019, we started then getting back up again, I think 2022, which is now we started really tinkering and figuring out where are the revenue channels. And, it's only the last 2 years right now that we're like, okay, very clear, this is this. We're still solving for the career seeker and having the subscription. But, if it was earlier on, I think it was like 80-20, 80 seeking and servicing the career seekers and 20 was the employer. Right now it's like literally shifted, whereby we're like really 70% we're like solving for the employer to get what they need, and the 30% we're solving for the career seeker.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Interesting. You spoke about monetization. How long did it take? How long did it take from the inception? Because you, as a founder, you invested, and at first I know you thought it's just going to be a website.
My friends, that is the one thing.
Yeah.
If I can look at you all, there. Do not go and say you're going to build. Akianani nilikuwa nadhani najenga kitu ambacho kimalizo unaniipa. Yaani si website, sifanya website umemaliza ukaniachia website yangu. The fact kwamba it's a baby, it has to be fed, it has to have things and change diapers, and there's different levels, and then watu wakiongezeka, you have to get a new package and you have to do all of these things, and you cannot let it be alone. There has to be a nanny. And nanny has to be there 24/7. Yani dada wa nyumbani lazima awepo. Usitegemee unajenga platform afu unabakia mwenyewe. Yani nilikuwa sielewi. Mimi yani nakumbuka zile sticky notes zetu pale mwenyewe, yani ukimaliza pale kwa ukimaliza ukishatujengea. Maliza unatuachia mzigo. And to imagine how many years later, it's only this year that that you're actually handing over the baby over to us. Amefika sasa hivi akasema anaweza katembea kidogo.
We can do a send off.
We can do a send off.
To this baby.
But yeah. I never imagined that it takes that much to build a platform. I think I didn't understand. Sikuelewa.
Nice.
But it's a good. I think it's like a mother. You don't know what you're ready for until you find it.
That's brilliant. Yeah. The monetization bit.
Yes, monetization. But in Zuri, when we started, remember the pilot? Hey, Lord is good. Our first pilot was actually an actual client.
Doing pilot with the client.
We did a pilot with the client. We did not know
Coca-Cola?
It was Coca-Cola.
Yeah, Coca-Cola.
It was Coca-Cola. I don't remember. Nakumbuka kuna siku yani vitu kama mambo yana happen, mtu unatoa stress. So the good thing is, and I think we can talk about this. If you're working on a problem ambayo you have in-depth knowledge, something, you might have an opportunity like I did, whereby the first pilot literally was a client. So I got to test it out with the client. So in one or another, you can say we monetized from the get-go, right? Lakini I will tell you where we somewhat not necessarily lost the plot, kwa sababu even after that, nakumbuka tulipata wateja kama wawili. Mmoja kwenye manufacturing industry, mwingine ilikuwa kwenye I forgot which particular sector. But then COVID ikaja 2020. So 2019 kuingia 2020 tukapata yani kama vile a lapse in terms of ile tulikuwa tumeshaanza kupanda juu kupata wateja, and then ikatulia. Right?
Dropped and everything.
And then it dropped, then we started, then tulivotoka baada ya hapo started coming back. So we were concentrating on one revenue channel ambayo ilikuwepo ndio zile tunazita special projects, whereby you're doing graduate training programs for specific companies or mass hiring. So programs kama hizo mara nyingi kwenye makampuni mengi, many companies don't do multiple hiring, right? So it takes a while. And lobbying yake ni 6 months, 9 months. Ukipata,
so
kazi ni nzuri.
That's all B2B.
That's proper B2B. Lakini ukipata,
Yeah.
hali ni nzuri, lakini kumbuka that is not now really optimizing the automation part of it, right? So it took us a while to get to the level. Now, sasa ukiacha hapo tukawa tuko busy na nini, tunasema okay, tumetengeneza mtu, tumempa uwezo mtu kutengeneza CV, download CV kwa shilingi 1,000. Okay, we are starting like online coaching, do for 15,000. Then unakutana na changamoto kwamba 1,000 unazihitaji. 1,000 makes a lot of sense if I'm having 1,000 20,
Yeah.
20,000 people downloading kwa 1,000.
Yeah.
That's good money. Or at least per day, ningekuwa
day.
kuna watu 500.
Yeah.
That's like 500.
Yeah.
Give or take.
You pay bills with that.
You pay bills with that. Lakini per day. Tazama kwamba sasa ukiwepo kwa mwezi ndio una watu 80. Naelewa? That does not actualize to what you need, right? Same thing when it comes to the coaching, right? Kwamba una packages, but then how many people are actually utilizing? That's the challenge. So, and remember hapo kuna kubadilisha mindset kwa sababu watu wengi upande wa career seekers expect you to be a job portal. Umeingia, nimeweka, natafuta kazi, nimemaliza. Wewe behind the scene uko busy, I want you to come and do the online coaching. I want you to do a course. I want you to do an assessment. Because behind the scenes, I'm tracking your metrics. That is what I'm using to do my leaderboard. And then that leaderboard, I'm going to then, that's what is, informing a client who is coming to, look for a person. So that story, there's a lot of marketing and a lot of hela that has to go, that you need to have chaching, right? Turudi huku kwa upande wa pili sasa wa employer. And we took a long time to get to that point. Kwamba, how are we really automating to the next level kwamba as an employer, akiingia kwenye mfumo wa Niajiri, akiwa anataka talent, sio lazima aongee na Niajiri. Aweze kufanya tu pale yake filter screen yake nataka mtu gani, bonyeze aondoke naye, self-service. Ya pili kwamba basi tufanye subscription, kwamba wewe badala mtu akutumia kwenye email, tumia mfumo wetu. Hivyo vitu vyote hatukuvifanyia kazi mwanzoni. Tulikopo busy tunapambana na ile, kwa sababu it was not necessarily easy money, but it's good money. You take a while to get that cycle. But then tatizo lake sasa ni kwamba by the time unapata miezi 9, ukishapata ule mzigo, unalipa madeni ya miezi 9 umepambana nayo for a period of time. So the idea behind here in terms of monetization, what I want to take home is try to think of different revenue models for your product, and revenue channels. Because if you just have one big one, it's a challenge. And one of the realities that I have learned, and you would also, share your thoughts, because I know that as IPF, you're building products. B2C, and it's not me. This is it's statistics. B2C in Africa bado. Yani B2C in Africa kwamba ikusustain bado. Haiwezi kusustain. So you have to think about how are you building a product B2B. Ambayo ina different channels kuweza kufikia watu wako na kila kitu. Otherwise, yani kuchomoka ni vigumu sana.
Yeah. Nice, interesting. In early days, thank you for sharing about that. In the early days, you were taking money to invest into building a product. Okay? And you're unatoa mfuko huu kwenye consulting, and you are pushing back kwenye product development. A team of 2. Right now we're looking at a team of 12 plus.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations on that, by the way. The team is growing and I like it.
Thank you.
Now, my question is, between that journey, there are people who you, one way or another, supported you, either in partnership, in mentally, like being there to be there. So we'll go to programs, but before going to programs, let's talk about the power of partnerships that held you together to where you are now.
One is right here. I mean, honestly, if it was not for IPF, I don't think we would have built whatever we've been able to build, right? Inshallah, asanteni sana, mmetuweka mjini. Asanteni kwa kutuweka mjini. But what's more important, I think, we were able to strike a business deal, right? I did not know what I was getting myself into. you know, and you guys knew what you guys were doing, and you helped us to you helped us to also lower expectations. You know, the team, the sons, yeah, Grayson, Nelson, and Jackson. You know, I had like, leo naamka na kitu hiki, kesho naamka na kitu kile, afu Grayson anakutumia, wakati huo Nelson ndio lead wako, project manager. Nelson anakuambia tu pole tulie fulani. So a partnership such as what we had with IPF, it helped us to build, right? And the partnership, and I think this is something that is important, right? Because your partnership to kusaidiana, kulikuwa kuna some monetary terms. Lakini kulikuwa kuna, tunaweza kusema ni sio soft, patient monetary terms, right? Because it's not every time that I had the money to pay you at the end of the month. That's the reality. But, and that was also on me, kwamba kwenye ile kitu ambao nasema kwamba nitalipa, jamani nishikeni, lakini ninapambana, and I think you guys saw it, kwamba I will hold my end of the bargain to make sure kwamba you get your due. Kwa sababu I think that is another thing. Let's not take partnerships for granted. You know, everybody responsibility yake afanye responsibility yake kwa aina moja ama nyingine. Nadhani mara nyingi kwenye partnership, especially kwenye partnership ambazo zina urafiki, tunachukuliana poa na tunaanza kupoteza zile demarcations na boundaries, right? And it becomes a bit of a challenge. So for me it was this. There are a couple of corporates ambao pia, you know, took, I mean even Coca-Cola, you know, taking a chance on us by then, for the team that was there. There are some companies that, you know, we went to knock on doors and still took a chance kwamba nyie hamna mtu amewahi kuwasikia, product yenu haijai kutumika, lakini umefanya kazi na nani? Yaani unajua kuna makampuni yale ya kwanza ambayo yanachukua a chance on you kukusaidia wewe kupata jina kwamba jamani mimi nimeenda kufanya kazi na mtu fulani, ndio mtu mwingine anafungua their door. So even for those I call them partners, inaweza kawa sio endelevu, lakini at that particular point in time anakupa credibility ya kuweza kwenda kugonga kwenye mlango mwingine. Behind the scenes, when we're talking about building a company, right? It's not just about the tech. It's also about your financials. It's also about your legal. And I think by then I had like 2 other companies that I had as a finance retainer, and another company on a legal retainer, right? So all of those guys wanasaidia. Lakini also kuna wale employee 001, right? and that's something ambayo people who take a chance on you. I think wakati naanza na Juliana, and this is a special one, Jan actually, my father had come through to the office and nikopo nakuja nikamtambulisha timu, kila mtu aongea elezea hapo nini. And nikamwambia baba, huyu hapa ni yule employee 001 yule ambaye believed in me, and it was not just believing in me kwa sababu tuko pamoja kwenye ekia, but believed in Niajiri and the randomness that we had. And to imagine that right now she's leading, I honestly say right now my job is, you know, thinking through the network, the net worth, tapping into my network and strategy, and trying to get the right people in the room to sell them what Niajiri is. And Juliana leads the team. And the reason why the team is strong as it is right now and it is moving is kwa sababu Juliana is managing it. So kuna wale watu, kwa sababu for talent, which is a whole other story we can talk about when you're building, right? You need people who can actually see the vision together with you, lakini also take a chance, right? Kuna mtu kama Pamela alikuja, you know, so it was Juliana 001, akaja Pamela. Pamela, Jacqueline. But there was something with Pamela, naunga papo kwenye meeting, kati ya sprint meetings, kati tuko pale CNG Plaza. Ikopo ni Jackson amekuja or somebody's a couple, but Pamela alikopo pale. And I was listening to Pamela talk about the vision of Niajiri, and I'm like, okay, she's buying it. You know, it is just not me. I actually have other people who are like taking it. And she's like, no. I think alikuwa sio nagombana, but she was arguing with somebody. It's like, no, yeah, you know, that's fun, Pam. Yakopa anasema, no, hiki ni kitu bwana, hiki unajua sisi hapa bwana tunataka hiki na hiki. And I'm like, hey,
it's not me.
Hey, it's not me. And I think that's the thing, that it was just not me. And it takes a whole lot. So those are some of the partners I
Yeah.
think, you're talking about. And I think sometimes we get lost in looking at the big partners, but kuna wale ambao really just hold you down, through it all. My family, my sister has been a IROC person. For the first few years, dude, I was staying at our house.
Yeah.
And those are the things we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Me, I usually tell people, I've been able to do half the things that I've done. Kwa sababu I think when I was starting, na hata hii mzee aliongelea jana, akasema you guys, yani nilikopo kila kitu nilichokuwa nacho nilikopo naingiza kwenye Niajiri.
Yeah.
Lakini I was able to do that kwa sababu at least nilikuwa najua nyumbani kuna rent over my head.
Yeah.
Kuna rent, kuna roof over my head, nitakula chakula kwa sababu niko kwa dada yangu, niko kwa shemeji. And sometimes, unfortunately, some people don't get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
If you do make the most of it.
Yeah.
So those are some of the partners ambao hold our hands as we go through these things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Lillian. Now, this is interesting one because you hold two positions here as you coach talents, like your job. You are an HR by profession. You have a HR platform. You are an entrepreneur, so you hire people as well. So someone out there, and people are struggling with hiring and firing and retaining, mostly these the generation, the Gen Z, and how are we dealing with that? So a little bit out of the scope of Be Agile, but I really wish, since it is rare to have this such combination right here, I have to ask the question: how do you deal with building up a team, retaining the Gen Z talents, and sharing that vision that you have, and them getting to own it? How are you dealing with all that?
That's
Guys,
it takes a village.
This is Lillian would build this a whole lot of money,
man.
but she's sharing here now.
What does it take
for free?
What does it take to build? So I usually try to ask myself where mazingira gani ama eneo gani ambalo ningependa kufanyia kazi, and I do to my utmost level try to create such an environment with the resources that I have available. So moja, the recruitment is important. Kuna wakati sasa hivi tumefikia level fulani ya kusema kwamba recruitment yetu has to be within our pipeline. So kind of like you start as a volunteer or an intern, then you get you get on board and then you go up, because we learned we have to learn you have to learn more about us, and we need to date. The dating has to happen so that we figure out where we are on each other's levels. That's one. But most important, sasa in the event kwamba tumesha date na umeshaka hapo, there's one thing that this was a culture that I got from IPF, right? Because you all know our product jam Friday was inspired by
IPF. Hack It Friday.
So, things like that, I found that they help to build culture. So our product jam Friday for us, it's about kitu kujifunza, so you're teaching others. On Monday, we have Monday Kickstart meetings. And one of the things we do is we always have 30 minutes of prayers. Somebody has to be doing the prayer session. Yani kila mtu ana round. Kila mtu lazima na wote Waislamu kwa Wakristo wote tunasoma Quran nyingine, tunasoma kwenye Biblia. And for me that was important because religion or spirituality is something key. I would not do half the things that I'm doing if it was not for God. So and from the beginning, I think when we're starting to build and we're like, this will be our foundation and that's what we'll stand on. So vitu kama hivyo, being able now sasa kwanza kukunini kwamba mtu kianza basic things, so kuna health insurance, yani tunamretain vipi huyo mtu, kwa sababu uhalisia wa mambo as entrepreneurs in the marketplace, it gets a bit tricky because unapambana to get good talent from the big corporates, right? So what are those small things that you can do so that you can at least get hawa watu the same quality of talent, right? So that you can build, kwa sababu the reality of the matter, you need people on the same wavelength for you to move faster. Otherwise unajikuta kwamba you're doing a lot of training before you're able to move forward. So being able to start providing some of those little perks, incentives in one or another, ambazo incentives nyingine zinakuja vipi, very small, lakini mwisho wa mwaka, kwapo kuna ka package fulani kwamba jamani basi, asanteni, it has been a good, so small things, but they add up to be something bigger. Doing our best to have that whole listen approach. It's not an easy one. As an entrepreneur, as the boss, as the leader, kwamba I am willing to listen to whatever anybody has to say, and learn. And when I am wrong, I am also willing to say hapas, nimekosea. Na kuwepo na kuto nimekosea. And, you just find aina moja ama nyingine ya kiutuzima kusema umekosea, but tunasema umekosea. So, back to in terms of how do we recruit, I think you recruit for aptitude, attitude. You train for the skills. We're in a certain phase of that. You recruit for people who have the same values. Kwa sababu you might get a technically sound human being that they're awesome at what they're doing, but ukamuingiza kwenye team, ukashangaa team imeharibika. Yani mambo hayaendi. Right? So at the end of the day, it's about people who can actually work with all the other team members. Because at the end of the day, we're not working in silos, we're working in teams. However you look at it. So if you are somebody who is looking at starting and you're at, employee 000, many 000, hata kwenye register kasa hivi, kamtafuta 001. So as you're starting to scale that up, it's looking for people who more or less have the similar characters. But samahani kwenye hii issue ya character, pia you have to be very, very careful. There are a couple of hires ambazo nilifanya mimi mwenyewe and I did not do well. So also getting people who are knowledgeable in that space. So when it comes to recruitment, I learned early on to leave Juliana to do the recruitment. That it also takes away my biasness. Kwa sababu unajikuta saa nyingine you hire watu ambao wanafanana na wewe. It's just a human nature thing. And not necessarily people who will be able to do and deliver. So as much as you can, unaweza kuwa una board of advisors. Yani jaribisha kutafuta watu wengine ambao watakusaidia hata kuingia kwenye hiyo recruitment panel. Unaweza kuwa ni marafiki zako ambao ni kwa sababu again when you're starting to build, yani kuweza kusaidia kwamba ni kitu gani kingine ambacho wewe hukioni kwa macho yako. Yeye anaweza kauliza, anaweza kaona. But wewe kwa sababu ya bias moja ama nyingine unaweza usikione, lakini mwingine akakiona. Yeah.
Nice. That's interesting. Thank you for that free advice.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, I like the way you put your trust to your employee 001. But me and you, we know along the way of development, you as a visionary, you were guiding the building process of what are we building next, what are we working on and everything. But over time, you had to give that up.
Yeah.
You had to delegate that to someone else, and we first time hired a product owner. Okay, someone, Pamela, who would now be a product owner. The title itself, it's scary. Like, hey, this person is not a product owner, and I am a founder. Like, okay, and what was going through in your head, giving over that power of, because you have your baby, then it's like you are letting someone to be able to say like, like, choose what school you want them to go, like choose what meal they're going to have. And I like something like that.
Yeah.
How were you able to give out that power of directing, like having that guidance to someone else?
Well, I should thank you for it. No. I think we can, jokes aside, there was a time ambapo ndio ile you're juggling too many hats at one time, right? And then you become no good at anything because where you're supposed to be reaching out to customers, looking for customers, where uko behind the scene, in so ndio nimekumbuka mtu ametoka kuambia customer, kuna kumbuka kuna calls nyingine nilikuwa nimetoka kuongea na customer kama leo nikikupigia simu hiyo yani nakwambia customer amesema hiki afu anahitaji kitu hiki afu unajua kile kitu kile. Anyways, yeah, so the story is as a founder, and I think as you having the engagement, you get so many ideas and you get so many things, and managing that and what is happening behind the scene, it was getting a little bit much. But I think you guys, as the product developers, you saw that it was not getting as much attention because Ababu, I was by default doing so many other things as should be. I was not giving the product the due process that it needed, right? And that's when, you were like, I didn't even know there's such a title, first of all. And that, even to think about, maybe have you thought about mtu huyu anaweza kaichukua? And it is amazing how she grew into that and owned that particular title. And she, like, there's sometimes kama hivyo unakaa nikisikiliza, I'm like, mimi mwenyewe would not have been fighting for this product the way this woman is fighting for this product. Like, no, hiki kitu kimefanya hiki na hiki tukiwa hivi na hivi. And honestly, that process, it helped me sasa then to concentrate on what I need to concentrate on as a managing director, right? In concentrating in making the business deals, in concentrating in looking for the clients, in concentrating in bringing in the money to pay the 12 humans. So in all of those things, it took, it took somebody from outside to help advise us what was the right thing, because otherwise we were losing the plot in not giving really the product the due processing, the love, yani kwamba kufikiria, kwa sababu unahitaji mtu unajua kujenga, ndio ile tunarudi kwamba ni kama mimi nilivyofikia kwamba ni platform tu nikimaliza unaacha. No, yani kuna vitu vidogo sijui mpaka kitu kuja kusimama, right? Ndio ile kwamba kuna dot same fulani mimi nisingeiona kwa sababu niko busy naangalia tu juu, lakini huyu kwa sababu ni kazi yake kukaa kuassess, mmetengeneza hiki, no, sisi tunataka UI UX yopo tofauti, yopo hivi na hivi, we have not considered this and this. Imeenda kutengenezwa, imerudi, imeingia kwenye development, ngoja tufanye testing. Imeleta huku, kuna hiki na hiki akienda vizuri huku, would I have had the time to do that? So I think these are the things that as a non-tech, because I'm not a tech person, right? That you don't think about, definitely, because I didn't even know in this building a tech platform, but when you expose yourself to people who are knowledgeable and you get to listen to their advice, inakusaidia. So I am grateful that you advised us as IPF, and Pamela has taken on that role, and she's just taking Niajiri to a whole other level. Yeah.
Nice. I'm really glad that worked.
I'm sharing my child. We're sharing. So she knows more about. See, now that's the nanny. She knows more about my child and can speak different languages than I can right now at this particular moment.
Nice. Interesting.
Yeah.
For people who want more context about this, I think I shared a while back. At IPF, we worked with a number of, kind of different type of businesses. And the problem that we saw with you and other entrepreneurs is you're busy chasing up the money, and you only work on your product in the evening and the night. And that is you kind of side hustling your own product. Now, having that someone to be able to ask questions to and everything, and probably I would say someone, if you're juggling between hiring a developer and a product owner, I will lean into hiring a product owner first, because whenever that developer comes in, even if it's a freelancer working part-time, that product owner will be able to keep that person on their toes to have things delivered, rather than, otherwise the developer will just give you BS and run corners and won't give you what you want. Nice.
Captured that well.
Interesting. Another thing I like about Lillian, and I've known her doing this at least a couple of things times a year, traveling.
Oh Lord.
And and she loves the airport so much.
I love the airport.
Now, that level of exposure you have with traveling, and every time you travel, what you bring back to the platform and what feed into your mind and everything. How helpful has that been to your journey of entrepreneurship and building a product? And maybe if you can name one journey that say like this really helped me navigate things better.
I'll actually go with the recent travel that I had, right?
Yeah.
I was Tallinn, Estonia.
Yeah.
And this was a pivotal one. It was mid this year. Pivotal one because it's the capital one of the tech hubs of the world, right? So I got to attend an innovative, like crazy big, one of my biggest like
Event.
tech shows that I've ever been to, right? And you get to see all of these amazing humans doing different things and tech and startup founders like 1,000 plus all in one space, right? So first off, just being able to go is like, okay, I'm not the only one. Even with HR tech, there's like, you listen to people who are pitching different elements and all of those other things. But my pivotal one is I had a sit down with not advisor of some sort, but he works with different startups across, actually helping them set up in Europe, funding, etc., etc. And I was like, so this is what I do, and this is that, and what you're an HR, yes, HR tech, etc. And it's like, and this can be in terms of the model, in terms of the business model. So it's not taking away anything, but it's just like, Lillian, whatever you guys are doing, because I think sometimes we box ourselves in a business, right? And it's like, unataka kuonekana zaidi labda kiteknolojia na startup na sana nini. Akasemaje, na huyu ni, it's somebody who's been working in the startup world, in the tech space. It's just like, try to change your delivery. You are a business owner who is optimizing tech in delivering your services. So sio kana kwamba saying kwamba ni ile not necessarily to move away, but he helped me rethink kwamba as I am out there, because one of the key things is that I had been applying to various startup pitches and all of those other things. Na mara nyingi, most of the questions you get to a higher level, right? And these are conversations that we need to have. And mara nyingi unakuta kwamba is like, kwa nini, as most startups unatakiwa kwa 3 years or so starting to monetize, unataka kufanya nini. Like kuna some numbers fulani ambazo ukiangalia kwenye Niajiri, the numbers are not necessarily there. But ukiangalia kuna revenue, right? So it's a business. Unaelewa? And you don't have to fit a certain category for you to be justified in what you're doing. You're optimizing technology in delivering the services that you're doing, but it does not necessarily mean kwamba you have to brand yourself or you have to feel like you have to fit this little peg. It's okay. Wewe sema tu, you are doing what you're doing, you're optimizing technology kwenye space ya HR, you could be HR tech, lakini usijisikie vibaya. And I think that's kwamba mbona hatupiti hapa, mbona wengine wanaweza waka raise X amount na kila kitu. So at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers, it's all about your traction, it's all about nini. So like those are some of the things, and we possibly maybe one day with one of our new products or features that we'll do that it could fit that. Lakini at the baseline, and I came back home, back to your thing, like Safari is like, I would have come back home and be like, this is where tech nini. But I came back home very somber, kwamba we are having a valid business. Because I was like, I was busy, najua kumulesa, hey, kata hizi revenue channels ipi ambao tunaifanyia kazi, ipo ndo tunaenda. Akasema, kanisikiliza. Akasema, okay, wewe unachokitaka ni nini? Unafanya biashara. Ndio. Akasema, wewe endelea kufanya biashara. Don't get bogged down on kwamba do I tick all the boxes of like being a startup. Wewe fanya biashara, tengeneza hela. It will come along. And I think for me, it was just like, let's just get the work done, get the business out and do that. And not necessarily have to fit a peg of something. So nilirudi, which is very different, nilirudi na teknolojia. So someone, the tech lead na kina Pamela huko wakopo wanapata, nilikuwa nawatumia tu ma links ya vitu na nini. You're talking about AI agents or my recruitment AI agent, manini, these are the things that I want. But then also I came back very somber and very, because this is advice I got from somebody who helps build, companies and get them money. And it's like, don't take yourself for granted. Just because you're not ticking these boxes and you look like this, you still are doing good at the level that you're at. So yeah.
Nice. Safi. You're solving a problem. Keep solving a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't want to usitake zaidi kuwepo flani.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
it makes sense. Makes sense. Lillian, building a business has ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I'm going with this. What was the moment in your journey of an entrepreneur building Niajiri? You got down to say like, why am I even doing this?
I think COVID took me down. So, because right before COVID, as I was saying, it was right when we just, kind of like kwenye runway ndo tuko tunaanza pick up, right? So when COVID hit, we're home. I think when we're all trying to figure out what's going on, we had to get to a level ambayo, half salary, because you couldn't do the full salary. Hata hiyo half salary yenyewe ilikuwa ni mapambano ya hali ya juu kuweza kufanikisha, and then I started questioning, because I think up to that time I was starting to, my being was Niajiri and Niajiri was me. Like I was Niajiri, right? And I think then it hit me that if Niajiri is nothing, then I am nothing. So I remember like during COVID, I had actually one of my longtime mentors, like proper mentoring that I had to go through, ambayo kuweza kuji-assess na kuweza kurudi kwenye mstari kwamba Niajiri is just one of the many hats that I can wear, that I get to wear at any one point in time, but it does not necessarily say who I am as a person, right? So as a business owner, I think that time was a very trying time, because you have people, wewe mwenyewe uko kwenye tatizo, afu unajua kwamba sasa watu wako pia na wenyewe wapo kwenye majanga na wanategemea hiki kitu, na hiki kitu hakina chochote cha kuwapa. So it was a very, very challenging time in terms of finding myself as a person, and in finding myself as a person, really disassociating between the person and the company, and being able to learn that there's only so much you can do at one point in time. Definitely, through that process, got to learn and got to, when we came out, really make sure how to be sustainable, ndo tukaanza kutinker around in terms of what are some of the other revenue channels that we can work our way around. But I think for me during that time, it was a downtime that as the world, I think we had too much time to ourselves, stuck in our houses. For a couple of months, I think we're all stuck in our houses, not knowing if we were going to go outside or not. And so just like, and that was right about the time when you're like starting to question yourself and what are you actually doing, and what is this thing, and is this, if it's nothing, then you're nothing, and all of those other things. So I think for me, that was during that time. Yeah.
Right. You had to overcome that personality, detaching yourself
from the company, and being and agreeing that, as Lillian, I could wear many hats, and it is okay. I don't have to be one thing. I can be multiple things. But also in being multiple things, nakumbuka, and sorry, I'm just extrapolating this one to current standing. I remember the people that used to be like, okay, Lillian, you're doing too many things, which is true. But I love doing too many things, have many hats. But to be good at whatever it is you're doing, you need to show up in one space for a whole lot of time to gain energy. And I think ukiangalia watu wengi ambao have become, great at what they do, you have to really, really practice and be very good at your craft. So there is essence in that saying, right? There's that one thing that you'll be good at, but it does not take away from having uwezo wa kuweza kufanya vitu vingine tofauti. Na kuna watu wengine wamebarikiwa na nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu ni mikati yao kwa sababu there are different hats that I've worn at different times ambayo I know if I decided to give that my all at that particular point in time, I would have been awesome at it. But yeah, so I decided to give my all to Niajiri and be awesome in the space of scaling and capacity building and building a tech product while I'm a non-tech person. Yeah.
Speaking of you being a non-technical person, and I'm glad you got out of that, by the way.
Thank you.
COVID was something else.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad you umetoka salama.
Absolutely.
And here we are now. Now, speaking you as a non-technical founder, who you're building a technology company. There are many things there. One, trying to catch up with the lingo and everything in between that. But as well, talk to a fellow non-technical founder first. Let's start with that, all right? Someone who is trying to invest. There are so many people. I receive so many calls. A doctor needing to build a tech product, someone who is doing logistics, they saw an opportunity and everything like that, And the beauty, the good and the bad about it is when you are working in a certain area, you are an expert and you have a chance to find problems and at least have ideas of how you get to solve that.
Yep.
And there are so many people out there who they are not technical. They believe they're very good ideas to build products. When I work on this problem bothers me. There are so many people, others who are bothered by this.
Yeah.
All right. You were able to innovate and build a solution around your space as a non-technical person. How would you advise
somebody, a non-techie?
Yeah.
Any non-techie. Whatever problem you want to solve, make sure you can make money out of it. Kwanza. Basic. Make money. Yes, we're going to solve the world and impact the world, but make money. Hilo ni la kwanza. Kwa sababu usipoanza hapo kama unaanza biashara, ni unless kama unafanya anything else. Kama ni biashara, the first thing that I will say, ni sawa na need to reflect back. I think I spoke about this. I started solving for Niajiri, but much as I was solving for the employer, my biggest macho ilikuwa ni career seeker.
Yeah.
Lakini yule alikopo hanitengenezea hela faster. Niambia ananipa na niweka mjini ni huyu kwa fungu nilikuwa namtengenezea lakini nilikuwa simpi ile much time kwenye kumwangalia na to get them to that next level. So one, your problem, whatever it is you're solving for, my biggest question these days when I get anybody who's, get an opportunity to speak to somebody who's starting something, I'm like, where's the money? Let's first figure out where the money is and then we start innovating around that. Then when they're innovating, right? If it is building anything tech, ni kuangalia who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with ambao wako well-versed, right? Na kwenye well-versed sasa hivi bahati nzuri, tuko kwenye dunia ambayo wewe mwenyewe kwanza ni zamani mambo yalikuwa ni mengi sana ya kwanza kujifunza na kila kitu, lakini kidogo nijaribu kwanza kufanya coding lakini sikufika huko bado. Lakini siku hizi kuna kina chati, kuna products nyingi sana ambazo mtu unaweza zikakusaidia at least elementary kuweza kuelewa what it is that's going on. Na to the next level unaweza ukapata technicals, whether ni hapa ndani ya mji ama ni kuingia kwenye online kupata watu ambao kusaidia, kwa sababu at the end of the day you have to start somewhere. Na kwenye you have to start somewhere, don't go building. Now this comes down to design principles, right? Human design. principles. Don't go build enough to go test. And then test so well to figure out if you're actually going to make the money or you're actually solving the problem. Before you then go fully frontal investing in whatever it is that you're building. So that you don't spend so much time kuingiza hela. Na hela hapa ni your man time, your financial resources, kwenye kujenga kitu ambacho at the end of the day ukikiingiza kwenye market haikubali, right? You have to really take the time to first build something ambayo unaweza kwenda kufanyia testing, ufanye testi vizuri, uexplore kama kweli inafanya kazi au la kabla ya kurudi. Kwa sababu again, ndio ile nilikopo naongelea kwenye the same kwenye recruitment kwamba wewe kama wewe, kwa sababu unajua ile eneo, unaweza kuwa na biasness yako. Na kwa sababu ya hiyo pia unaweza kuwa unaangalia ile tatizo from a perspective ambayo maybe does not necessarily solve. Unaweza kuwa una solve lakini labda utengeneze hela. Unaweza kuwa una solve lakini labda mtu ambaye unadhani ulikopo una solve for sio mtu actually ambaye atakulipia, right? There's a gentleman, I forgot his name, but awesome. He has an amazing product right now in the market. And I remember him coming to tell me about his product through one of our campus ambassador programs or something. And he was like, yeah, tunaenda kufanya hiki, nimesahau program product inaitwa nini, lakini it deals with cattle. And it's like tunaenda kuuzia sio wakulima. Unaitwa nini?
Farmers.
No, sio farmers bwana, livestock keepers wanaitwa ni Kiswahili.
Wafugaji.
Wafugaji. Sio wafugaji. Kapiga squat, I'm like, mfugaji hawezi kanunua. It was so it's a tagging system and all of that. I forgot it. You know the kid's name. And I'm like, mkulima tulipa hiki kitu. But I was like, but you know who? Makampuni yanayofanya kazi kwenye kufanya the same way kama kwenye kulima mtu, you have pesticides na nini. Wale ambao wanauza kile kitu kwa ajili labda the livestock wapo high na nini, they might actually invest. So I'm like, you're looking at this person as the nini, and right now jamaa yuko mtaani hadil na mkulima, hadil na livestock keeper, anadil na huko makampuni huko juu ndio ambao wanalipa kwa ajili ya product yake kuwepo distributed kwa hawa watu wa chini. But had to do what? Test. Baada ya kutest, na kwenye kutest sasa it also involves kuongea na watu randomly kama sisi. Wengine ambao tuta poke holes, wengine ambao tutafanya nini, lakini ili uweze kuperfect so that by the time unaingia kwenye market na umeingiza sasa hela kwenye kuifanyia, you really already have the base market. So sometimes you're solving for something and we get stuck on who we're solving for. So I am a perfect case. I got stuck for the longest time in who I'm solving for, but not really thinking through but who can actually buy this product?
Now, you're speaking about the product owner being able to, capture up and kuweza kujifunza and everything between that. We are into, for a couple of years now, it's not even new, AI and everything. As a product owner, I know you wish this was there since then. So I need you to talk on this in two angles. One, what are we doing on Niajiri to adapt? And you spoke about AI agent hiring and everything, recruitment. How ready are you getting the platform to head into that direction? I know that is a question that you're going to respond for intensively. So I'll pause there, then I'll follow up with that another.
Okay. So that is a space that I am quite excited about, because I think for the longest time, even when we were starting Niajiri, I've always been about, not going into programs. I think one of the programs that had supported us in the beginning, much as we started monetizing with a client, was Data Lab Innovation Challenge, which was around data, right? So it was like, how do you use data to inform and make choices, or that choices, whatever, to make some data decisions. So data has always been a central part in terms of our Niajiri platform. The data we receive to actually be able to inform us in making. So I'm quite excited the fact that we're now sitting at a space that we can actually utilize the data. And we had that opportunity even with IPF, when we were starting to think about how to make it easier in building CVs, right? The CV parser. And initially, we were getting a license and paying, was it 0.005 cents or something to download? And then we're like, but we can actually build this, right? Based on the data points that we already have in our database. So, extrapolating that to where we are right now, we are quite keen in maximizing the use of data to help us in doing the matchmaking. So algorithms to be able to really matchmake a possible employer to a possible candidate. Going to the next level of really being able to helping them to make informed decisions when it comes to not just, helping you build your CV, but, helping you in saying that if you want this type of job, then these are the type of courses. But then we're just not recommending courses that are out there, but then those are also some of the courses that you can take within the platform. So right now we're going to that next level of how do we maximize the platform usage, right? So there are a couple of interesting products we can talk about
in the lineup.
So one is Niajiri Kocha.
Nice.
Right. So moving from online coaching, which is a subscription that is available on the Niajiri platform, one of the standalone products that we are currently working on is Niajiri Kocha. And Niajiri Kocha, basically, so Kocha, think of your coach, but then Swahilized Kocha, Kocha. The Kocha basically helps you. It's a AI agent chatbot that actually helps you in building your CV, that actually helps to let you know, so you can upload your job profile and they can, we can tell you that this job actually fits you, or this is how your CV should be framed. But then it's going to be available in Swahili. And those are some of the things that we are really building now for our users. And so Swahili, that's one because we're operating right now, but Niajiri.Africa, obviously, definitely, from Tanzania to the rest of Africa. So being accessible in the language that of the place that we're in, to be able to really speak to the needs of that one. And then obviously basic interviewing. And so we're building this, what makes it different than any other information, but we're really building it with the data points that we have in terms of what we see are some of the questions that are being questioned when you are operating in an SME type of environment. Because again, we are dealing with that type of environment client. So it's pretty exciting. Another one, which is right now we call it Niajiri Tool. So the Niajiri Tool is like your software as a service, more or less. So for more like your corporate end, but you don't want to use our system, so you're able to utilize you're able to utilize not necessarily automation to download and for you to do the recruitment on your own. Again, same thing here. We're seeing how we can optimize. So data points that we have to really help inform the decisions that as an SME building for the SME and the corporates that will be using the system. So quite excited the fact that we are in a space. There's some things that I used to dream about, and I know I used to knock on your door and be like, what about this and what about this? And I'm seeing it come to being. There are a couple of Figma that were done. One is on the Deiwaka. That's another one that is also about to be unveiled. So Deiwaka is your traditional, now really scrapping degrees, right? If you're looking at your traditional African employer, SME, and SME looking at a service sector, manufacturing, whereby there's a lot of turnovers. So this is your simple integration between SMS, WhatsApp chatbot that you're able to do pinging on. You say what? It's like your Uber and Tinder all mixed in one / WhatsApp chatbot. So like these are all things right now that we're able to be much more faster, much more like the turnaround time is quicker. And that's because, again, we have different AI agents, AI recruitment agents that we can plug into. But we're also doing our level best to really help for us to really build these recruitment agents, besides plugging into those that have already been built. Because the idea is, again, democratization. When you are using data, if you own that data and if you actually are managing that data, you go further long way. Otherwise, then you're just utilizing data points from other parts or helping informing your decisions, but not necessarily based on what is your current landscape.
Yeah. Nice. Interesting. Excited and looking forward to that. Working in HR space, this podcast won't be done without asking this question about the future of work. We have seen AI challenge the so people thought being complex task, like the field of programming and coding, and that has been challenged and keep being challenged. A lot of tools have been put together to, help accelerate that and help engineers build faster and better and everything in between that. We have seen the way people are putting together research papers and proposals and everything in shortest amount of time. As an HR expert, investing in building technology platforms, what do you say about the future of work?
It's exciting. Let me not be a pessimist. No, so the reality, and I don't have the numbers top of head. The reality is that, and I think you kind of summed it up. I was listening to one of your talks recently. The future of work is promising to those who are willing to explore, and maybe explore is not necessarily the right word. But to those who are willing to use some of these tools that you've spoken about, because the reality is that it can be scary. If you look at right now, our phones, there is your calendar, there's everything. So secretaries do not necessarily, I think Gen Zs don't even know that there's people who were called secretaries that existed. Right now, when you finish doing a video call, right, your summary, whatever, is already there. It's set. You didn't even have, you don't need somebody who is there, the note taker. Guys, who is the timekeeper and the note taker? Those are the things that were happening. So the timekeeper,
that was someone's job.
Yeah, that was someone's job. Timekeeper, note taker, kwenye mikutano, in different meetings, right? There would always be that. But right now, you can be in a meeting, you can, automate that. Certain time you're doing this, certain time you're doing that, and there's notes that are taken. So the idea is, and the reality of the matter is, those who optimize the use of these tools, right, will go farther.
You're saying these tools, you're sharing, AI is like that.
AI, it is what it is. But, I was talking to someone, I was like, is it Google came into being in 1998, right? And when I was in college, I remember we were told not to use Google Google Scholar. It was referencing to Google Scholar as an issue.
Was a crime.
Was a crime. Now, even right now, using AI to do your whatever definitely is
a crime.
It's a crime. Yeah. But it got to a point of
feels like cheating.
It is. But we can have a whole discussion around this. But yes, feels like cheating if you just put in things and you don't, if you don't optimize. Back to this thing that you can save on time and have a quality life. It's not that you put in information and you spew it out and you don't, you have to read it through, you have to rethink it, you have to use your mind. So back to the thing of future of work. Future of work, it's promising. And when you look at the job roles that are depleting, there are job roles that are depleting, definitely, right? But there are also job roles that are increasing, right? Are you a better prompt maker, prompt engineering, right? Right now, do you know right now there's a whole association for product owners and product owner certification and all of these things that didn't exist 10 years ago, right? So this is a specialty that was not there before, but right now people can take, right? So there are jobs that are depleting, but there are also jobs that are coming into the marketplace. So it is about what are the things, and this is what I try to talk to, when I have an opportunity of like graduates. There's recently a graduate who wanted to go do CPA, and she did do her CPA, which is fine. But then I was like, the same skills that you have, why don't you go do cybersecurity audit? Because you are already doing some type of audit, right? So, but then if you do cybersecurity audit and you get certification in that place, your will be hotcake, like with all the telcos and all the banks and everybody. So it's just about looking at what skill set do I have? Those, problem solving, critical thinking, those are basic because we're like, that can be transferred to many things. And that's the reality. So future of work, definitely, if it can be scary if you're not dynamic. If you're static and want to be set in your ways of doing things, it will be difficult. But if you're willing to explore and want to look at other opportunities, then the world is your oyster.
How are you keeping up, Lillian?
How am I keeping up? So, the exception of this year, I usually do challenge myself in having like some type of professional development course. Last year, I finished my executive diploma in development policy and practices early
She's
January.
not joking when she says she's challenging herself.
This year I was like, me and Niajiri be like, that is my extracurricular course. So that's the number one. I always try to push myself in having some type of course that I'm doing that I'm because I didn't have an opportunity of like working in like a proper corporate environment. I always feel, yes, guys, I also have this. I always feel not as at par with everybody else. So I usually need to surround myself with those that I think are masters in their things.
I think you're
And then,
far.
no, but my friend, this thing it's a game. So sometimes when I'm with people and I'm like, okay, so what I'm saying actually, kumbe I'm making sense. So I'm good. So sometimes I need to surround myself with such people. Then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm fine. But yeah, so I usually challenge myself in trying to learn. One of the things that I usually do with my team, and they'll tell you this, if I see you have, the reason why there's product owner, I know there's product owner because the other day I was just like, Pamela, go take this thing. You need to take this. And, I'll go to Philemon. I'm like, Philemon, I'm thinking about this and this, but I think you need to learn this because when you learn that, you learn it for yourself, but you also learn and apply it to, the company. So always try to figure out a way to take on an extra course wherever I can, and challenging myself and whenever I get comfortable. But this year I've not taken any extra courses, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a surprise question for you.
Aha.
I know about this, and because we talk, me and you, we talk a lot on the phone about compliance.
Why are you like this? Yes, I'm listening.
Trust me, they're not going to watch this, so
I know even if they do, it's fine.
it's fine. Right?
If we don't talk about it, who will?
Who will, right? How are you? Because like as an entrepreneur, and you said here, I think this what triggered me to ask you because you feel like you're not at par with the corporate shenanigans and navigating to things. So most things you learned as you go. Some taxes, they like you got penalized. You pay a tuition fee for it. They're like, oh, okay. This next year it's not going to happen.
Yep.
How have you navigated the compliance landscape in our country? And as you answer that, what compliance elements surprised you most in your entire journey of entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So for the longest time, I was always like, you have all of these things and don't necessarily put them up. I just learned early on these days. It feels so good, by the way. The other day, one of the officers from one of the licenses that we get came to visit us. And it was very nice because we like literally have lined them up all over there together. So like, there's no question. Like, look, all your friends are there. So we're being very compliant. So I kind of understand why people have those things up there because it just avoids most of the questions. Navigating the permits and licenses landscape. It's an interesting one. There's actually in one of the groups that I'm in today, I saw a link going around. See, they're doing things. They're doing things. There's a link going around asking us how many permits and licenses do you have to sign up for? So maybe they're trying to see what they can do to limit that. And there's a couple, and the couple, it's for a startup to be compliant. And I will stick on my. I think it's always good to have that that one sermon. My one sermon is on the space of getting good quality talent, right? So getting good quality talent, and this I can speak about it because I got burnt, right? As I was having my company IKEA, IKEA is doing well, whatever. So when we're moving from IKEA, because Niajiri got, IKEA was supporting Niajiri for the longest time, and in 2018, registered as Inbrella, but tax-wise, I think after COVID is when we actually started operating. So when we started operating as Niajiri, I knew for a fact that our bank balances were not agreeing with me to say that I'm going to take on everybody at the same salary without them being on consulting. Because otherwise I had to take them down so that
you balance the pay.
Because I did not have enough money to do that. That's just the reality. I did not have that money. Right? And so I was like, we're going to do consulting. Hey, fresh, everybody's they're consulting. Now, my friend, there's the time when that's legal retainer. I'd stopped with them during IKEA. So I just, gave them the contracts that I had earlier, and it did not have clearly that you're just having like a consulting agreement between the two of you. So when the masters came to do an assessment on us, now because at that point I have papers. I'm like, I've been paying withholding tax for everyone during that period. And then now when I think it was, I knew for like a year and a half, 2 years, I did not have that. And then when things started looking good, I'm like, okay, now I can do it. Everybody had their NSSF, payee, etc. So like, hey, they're like, no, for these 1.5 years, you had these 3-4 people who were employed. I'm like, yes, but it's consulting. Bring your
consulting certificate.
Agreements. Bring your agreement. Withholding tax certificates I have. I've been paying. I am a good servant.
Citizen.
I'm a good citizen. I do my taxes. I'm like, I've paid, and even the penalties and everything. But then like, no, this one, it reads as you having an employee-employee relationship. But I'm like, do you know what these guys wrote? Each one wrote. Like, I do understand, like, because I do understand that it was a consulting agreement during this period. Because it's not as if they left. These are the same people who are now hired as full-time right now. They wrote, I took this as vielelezo. And they're like, still no, my friend, this is an employee-employee relationship. The most we can do, we can maybe forgive you this. But you're going to pay. It will just be at a reduced fee, but you shall pay. So, these are things you don't think about. Because, ultimately, I was like, I knew I didn't have enough money. I knew that this is the other option I have, but apparently I still do not have myself covered as an entrepreneur. So, those are some of my pet peeves right now. Is like, back, I think earlier, when we started the discussion, I was talking about for an entrepreneur, small, medium entrepreneur, and it's not just about startup, but an SME who is wanting to hire good talent, a person with a degree and all of that. They still have to, fight for the good talent with the big corporates. For you to be able to pay the amount that they want and you to top it up, it is, legally, they say that is legally the amount is actually what should be paid. Like in Sasa, kama I have 1 million Tanzanian shillings. The person is needing 1 million Tanzanian shillings for me to keep. If I do 1 million Tanzanian shillings as consulting, I just take 5% withholding tax. But if I'm to do that as a full-time employee, then for them to get 1 million, I have to have in my pocket 1.3 1.4, give or take.
And the other fellow
Between-
doesn't see that.
Yeah, the four is me. I have to stress and get that 4 because that is none of their business, right? So, but then as a company, I only can do 1 million.
Yeah.
So, what happens there? So that's my sermon is like, how do we, design products from a compliance angle to make sure that the tax base does not run away? And because we do want to do our due diligence, because that is my responsibility as a startup, as a founder, to pay up taxes. But then can there be brackets? Can there be all of these different elements and all of that? But yeah, my friend, we survive. I know the other day you called me up. You're like, yeah, ma.
Don't mention this guy.
I was like, my friend, that one has not yet come, but the other one came the other day. But we survive. We move on. Yeah.
Nice. Really great pleasure, Lillian, having you here. We've been speaking to entrepreneurs and young founders and business people and everybody else. Specifically, I remember when you started Niajiri 8-9 years back. You were, when you look back at the pictures, like this little girl now, but by then you're like, big. You can go pitch and everything.
I know, man.
Right? Speak to a younger self. A final note to a young lady out there, trying to fight and build up a product and believing only probably men can invest much in technology. Not speaking about entrepreneurship only, but daring to do to be tech entrepreneur, which you have done, and you continue to amaze people and everybody around you. Talk to that person.
All right, talk to the young girl.
Yeah.
All right. Start from there. All right. To the young girl who's listening out there, to a young Lillian, you have the power. I know it sounds cliche, as it does, but honestly, I think you have the power. I know you do have the power in doing anything you set your mind to. And more than anything, you will surprise yourself over what you are able to do and what you're able to bring to the world. So just believe in yourself and just know that you have what it takes. Put God first. Surround yourself with teams of people that want the best for you, but also that challenge you to put your best foot out there at any one point in time. Be ready to learn. Be ready to learn from anyone and everyone, because everybody has something to share with you, and to take you to that next phase. And be ready to take on the world. Be serendipitous, meaning just, don't be too static. Sometimes it's good to pivot, and have that heart of pivoting. So be dynamic and just take on the world, because the world is yours.
Nice. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
Just to add up on what you said about young lady, ladies are built with nurturing spirit and multiplication power. And I believe, myself, I so much believe, if an idea coming from a woman and getting to own it, it has a good chance, because you're talking about having a baby and nurturing and making it grow. So I'm with you. I'm inspired, and I believe this will impact someone. And awesome. Thank you very much for watching Be Agile, for being with us to the last minute. If you found this inspiring, if you learned a thing or two on this one, feel free, please share it to another person. The point what we're doing here with Be Agile is to be able to build the next generation of tech entrepreneurs, product owner and business owners, so that we can be able to innovate and build our Africa. And let's be agile. Thank you for watching.